Man, oh man, so the rumors are true that Gervonta Tank Davis, the self-proclaimed face of boxing, and Jake El Gallo Paul were supposed to fight next after the Lamont Roach fight. And this information came from Jake Paul in an interview. He stated that if Tank Davis actually beat Lamont Roach, they were already signed to fight next. And Lamont Roach threw a huge monkey wrench in Gervonta Tank Davis and Jake El Gallo Paul's plans to fight next. He spoiled their plans by making Gervonta Tank Davis not look so invincible, because as we all know, Tank Davis usually knocks out his opponents, even though sometimes he does get outboxed. But these guys were like evenly matched, kind of like Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, but with a lot less action and a lot boring. I mean, that fight was pretty boring. I don't even know why they're gonna have a rematch. Hopefully they don't just stand there and try to counter each other like the last fight.
It was boring, man.
But yes, if Tank Davis does get through Lamont Roach in the rematch, he is gonna fight Jake Paul right next. Now, I know I did say that the Tank Davis and Lamont Roach fight was boring, but Lamont Roach did come out and stated something interesting. Lamont Roach stated that he was sick during the last 5 days of the fight, and not just that, he was supposed to go down to 135, but he was 147 pounds only 5 days before the fight. Maybe because he was sick, that's why he could not make weight, because he did come from 130 to 135, so he had 5 pounds to play with. So if this is true, we can expect a better version of Lamont Roach in the rematch. But not just that, I heard Gervonta Tank Davis was not in fighting shape for the Lamont Roach fight. But for both of these fighters making these statements, I am pretty sure we are all expecting better versions of Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. But I digress from my point. Let's talk about Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis. And these are the two biggest names in boxing, not called Canelo Alvarez or Ryan Garcia. All of these four fighters are the biggest names in boxing. Now, I'm pretty sure this fight is gonna break records, and I really want to watch this fight because it's definitely going to be a spectacle. And I am pretty sure this event is gonna be huge, but it's a complete mismatch. Gervonta Tank Davis is just too small to fight Jake Paul, even though there's a huge talent gap, because Jake Paul has a manufacturer record. He has been moved very carefully and strategically to fight fighters that make him look good. If he fights somebody that's dangerous, is really out of their prime, almost pushing 60, like Mike Tyson. And if he fights a fighter that has a big name and is in their prime and is very dangerous, it's under his weight class by a bunch of weight classes. Now, I respect everything Jake Paul does for the sport of boxing. And yes, I know he has sanctioning fights and he has a boxing record, but to me, he's not a real boxer until he fights people in his own weight class and his own age and division. Yes, I know he is boxing, but to me, it's more of a sideshow, kind of like a spin-off. But my co-host, Mr. Northpaw, the Chicago Lib, has something to say about the situation.
Northpaw, the Chicago Lib, back at you with another one. So we all heard Jake Paul confirm the fight between him and the self-proclaimed face of boxing, Tank Davis. Jake Paul and Tank had already signed the fight, but Lamont Roach got in the way of Tank's plans. I wonder what weight class are they going to fight in, since Tank Davis is 5'4" and 135 pounds and Jake Paul is 230 pounds and 6'1". I am pretty sure Tank can't go up to 200 pounds and fight Jake Paul. If Tank goes to 200, he will look fat and not even fit. I am pretty sure Tank will make Jake Paul go below 180 pounds. I am pretty sure Jake Paul will be drained. I have Tank beating Jake Paul if Tank drains Jake Paul. But if they fight over 190 pounds, I have Jake Paul beating Tank Davis. But this move that Tank Davis made by fighting Jake Paul instead of Stevenson or Haney or Teofimo Lopez makes Tank Davis look like a little bitch. Why are you fighting Jake Paul when your career is not even over? Some haters will say he is getting to the bag, but I thought that he was already getting to the purse by signing a contract worth $240 million more than Mayweather's contract. I always keep it raw, real, and uncut on Tank Davis. I smell bullshit. I always wonder why some grown men lie so much. Northpaw has spoken, now back to the boxing world.
Yes, I have to agree with you, Northpaw. Sometimes I do not get why grown men lie so much. Hey, but they're not like us. They're cut from a different cloth. And yes, I also do know Jake Paul and GERVONTATANKDAVIS, there's a huge talent difference, but there's also a big size difference. The only thing I can recall that something happened like this, where there was a huge size difference, was when Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Mosley fought Shaquille O'Neal. Now that was a huge size difference, but you seen the talent difference as well. It could play out something similar to that. Oh yeah, and Oscar De La Hoya and Shane Mosley both beat Shaquille O'Neal. But in Jake Paul's defense, I am pretty sure he is a lot more skilled than Shaquille O'Neal. He is actually a fighter, but he is not a very seasoned fighter. But he is definitely a fighter. And Shaquille O'Neal is just an athlete. He comes from basketball. Shaquille O'Neal is so big, he could actually make Jake Paul look small, like a middleweight trying to fight a heavyweight. But guess what, guys? I ain't the biggest, I'm the baddest. If you want to help out your boy, throw $1 at the super thing. I got a roll. Peace.